everyone, it's Stephanie here from My Porch Prints. Welcome back. Today we're going to be making this Christmas flip-flap folio, and this is from a kit in our Etsy shop, My Porch Prints on Etsy. And you might recognize this design. We also did a Halloween folio in the same design. And we're going to go ahead and just put this together today. So let's get started. Okay, so to begin with, we printed everything on cardstock. And we just printed it one-sided, so there's nothing on the back. And what we're going to do to begin with is I'm going to get some distress ink and I'm going to ink some edges. And the reason that I'm doing this is because a lot of times when you fold and glue these together, there's just a little bit of white showing around the edges. And so I'm going to try to alleviate some of that. Okay, so I did some inking along the edges just so these white parts won't show along the fold lines. And to begin with, we're going to locate flip 1, which is this door. And you can see there's another little door piece that goes with this. And then there's also this little scene of a chair and fireplace. And what we're going to do is just kind of look at this door and you can kind of see what the edge looks like on this. Match it up here, and we're going to cut along this line. And so what I want to do is start on this left side where the door handle is, and we're going to just use our blade knife to go right along here. And you can use like a ruler if you want to, if you want a straight line. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, and then down along this bottom edge all the way across. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along the top curve of this door, right about to where the first hinge would be if this were an actual door, right around here. There we go. And once we have that cut out, I'm going to go ahead and just fold along this line here, just like this was an actual hinge for a door. And again, I'm going to add just a little ink on these white edges so that they don't show too much. All right, and then this door we'll glue on the back of this one to give the illusion of a door on both sides. So now we've got this little door piece that kind of opens and closes. And what we're going to do is go ahead and fold this flip 1 piece in half, just like this, and this tab folds as well. And then we can kind of see where we're going to place this little scene behind the door so it looks like you're looking inside of a little house with a fireplace. Alright, and now that we've got our background in place, we can go ahead and glue flip 1 closed. So to do that, I'm just going to add a little glue around this door piece right here, like this. Okay, so remove this. Now we're going to locate the front of our house, and flip 1 is going to glue right here on this piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to line it up so it's even along the bottom here and along this side, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue it on. And this is my bone folder. I use this just to flatten down creases. And I have a link to the items that I use down in the description box below. So if you look for our Amazon shop, My Porch Prints Amazon shop, we have lots of items that we use for our projects. Okay. And you can see why we had to ink along here, because this is pretty bright white right where the creases meet. And that helps hide it just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and flip this over, and we're going to work on this white side of our cover. And I'm gonna have you locate this flip 2 and flip 3 pieces. And what you wanna do is go ahead and score or fold along these lines. So along this middle line, and then fold this tab as well. Same thing with this one, fold on the middle line and fold the tab piece. And we are gonna go ahead and just glue these closed. And if you have any white showing or you want to trim them up a little bit, you can do that now. Okay, and we are going to add both of these flips to this larger piece right here on the cover. So we've got our cover, got this big piece over here. That's where we're going to add these. And you'll want to make sure that these fold really nicely. You may want to even fold them back and forth a few times to crease them. That makes sure that they're pliable and that they'll lay flat when we assemble our folio. And both of these, we're going to apply the glue to the side that says flip. So where it says flip 2 and flip 3, that's where we're gonna apply our glue. Start with flip 3 and just glue all around this tab. And then it's going to line up on this side. And I'm folding it closed here just so I can see that it's lined up along the bottom and this right hand side. And then we're going to do the same thing with flip 2. Apply glue to this tab. And glue it to this large piece. And this is a good time to decide where you want it. If you glue it here, you'll have a little bit of this house showing. If you raise it up a little bit, that kind of gets covered. And I think I'm going to do that. Just raise mine up a little bit to kind of cover this house piece. So you can see I raised it just a little bit to cover the corner. Okay, and then these will flip closed however you want. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and cover this inside piece. Locate this large green piece here, and this will go inside. And before we glue it, just make sure that it will close. And you can see it's kind of having trouble because it's just a little bit big. So I'm going to trim just a little bit off of it to make it slightly smaller so that when we close it, it doesn't, you know, bubble. And that should do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this in place. And I think before I do that, I'm going to add just a little more ink where some white spots might show. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and glue the green piece down to cover these tabs. And now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to add this red piece and make sure that it fits before I glue it down. Okay, and now this is coming together, and you can see it's kind of bubbling up a little bit. To help alleviate that, I'm going to do just a little more creasing. And now we can start adding some pockets and decorating. So go ahead and just follow along with me here. The first thing I want to do is locate these pockets because there's specific sized ones that go with specific parts. And I'm also going to add a little punch out so that there'll be like a little half moon cut out of these. Here we go. So this little one goes on this first flip on the front cover. And it's just a little pocket there. And you can measure if you want to by kind of folding this in half, and that'll give you the middle of your pocket, if that helps you to get things even. I sometimes just do it by looking, and it's not always even, but it's usually pretty close. Okay, and then if you want to, you can ink along your pocket and it'll help it stand out a little bit. I'm not going to do that today because I want to save a little time here. And then we're just going to add a thin bead of glue to the edge, the side, the bottom, and up this other side. And then we're going to kind of center it on here. And it's meant to have a border, so you can see the brown border around it. Looks good. Okay, and then let's open it up and we'll add some more pockets. These red and green pockets go with our red and green pieces, and you can use them like this. And they might be interchangeable. I can't remember if they're exactly the same size. Looks like you could fit this one here and fit this one here if you wanted to. But I think I'll stick with red on red and green on green. So it's the same idea. If you want, you can ink your edges or not. And before I do this, I want to cut my half circles out. Okay, so it's starting to come together. Now that we've got our pockets in place, we can start filling them and adding some of our decorative elements. Okay, so to begin with, I want to add a little dimension to this little tower piece. So I've got some mounting tape here, and this just adds a little bit of puff to our pieces. And we've got these extra tower pieces to use here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one here and this one here. Okay, and we have a lot of other pieces. We've got some words, and we've got some little tiny pretty pieces that will go on our tower bookshelf. And then we've got some little stained glass windows, and also these tags, and they come in a lot of different shapes and types. So we're just gonna go ahead and use all of this to fill up our folio, and you can follow along as I go. Okay, our Christmas flip-flap folio is all done. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We sometimes have occasional freebies for you, and we also have great tutorial videos. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below about what you think about this project, and if you have ideas for other Christmas projects. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye!